A few weeks ago, I featured the soundcore AeroClip, a style of open-ear headphone that was completely alien to me, but one that turned out to be rather incredible with excellent sound and excellent comfort, so I thought it might be a good opportunity to take a look at a few other open-ear headphone styles from Soundcore, starting with these, the AeroFit 2's, which have a similar experience to the AeroClips, but rather than clipping on your ear, they clip over the top, very much like conventional earbuds. But this isn't the reason why I'm featuring these. I'm featuring these because Soundcore have done something rather unexpected. These have been around for a little while now. I believe they were released in October late last year, but they've just gotten a rather large update. And that update brings translation to the earbuds. Now, I think this is quite interesting. It's not a new functionality. We've had translation earbuds around for a long while, but the key point here is that those translation earbuds are exactly that, designed purposefully for translation. With these, translation is in addition to the original experience, which is catered towards music. So the real question is, do these actually hold up as translation earbuds as well? Well, we'll take a look at that later in the episode. But before I do, let me share my experience with you straight out of the box a few weeks ago, which I always feel gives you a better impression on my natural first impressions on the sound quality. Right, we've got the AeroFit 2. And as always, I always like to share my first impressions with you to get an idea, or to give you a better idea of initial reactions, initial sound. And I always feel that is the most genuine reaction that you can get. Right, well, the colour, actually, the colour is really nice. It's like this kind of sort of metallic green. Thin, but quite large. Oh, there's a lovely great big light bar on the front, which is quite cool. That's obviously the indicator for its current status. And the case is actually really nice. They kind of slot in really well. I will give them some good comments on that. That's pretty nice. But obviously, let's try them on. So these are the over the ear kind of, or around the ear, around the back of the ear style with the loop to keep it secure. But they're not in-ear headphones. They're more like the AeroClips, where they kind of sit on the just on the outside. They're very comfortable. I mean, I find in-ear headphones sometimes can get uncomfortable after using them for a long time. So I'm hoping these surprise me just as much. I mean, intrinsically, it's the same technology, it's Soundcore, so they should sound quite good. Let's play some music. Okay. Yeah, we've got very good. Quite deep. They actually sound potentially a little bit deeper, a bit richer in the lows and the bass than the AeroClips, but that comes with being a slightly bigger unit, I guess. Oh, cranked it up there. Well, okay, look, let's leave it there for now. Initial impressions are that they are very, very similar in sound to the AeroClips. They are slightly richer in the bass, I think, in the lows, potentially down to the size of the unit. I think this is a little bit bigger than the AeroClips. I like the design. They seem to fit comfortably and nice on the ear. Yeah, initial impressions are they're pretty good. Not much negative to say. I really quite like the colour, actually. The colour is very nice. I'm not sure it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, this green. But I guess I'll spend a little bit more time with them. I'll do some reading on them and I will listen to as many different audio styles as I possibly can, and I'll catch up with you back in the studio, which for me will be about a week. For you, it's right now. So now, after a few weeks, do I still rate them? Well, Yes, I think they're comparably very similar to the AeroClips, both in style and comfort, and I'd say they're maybe a little bit more noticeable on your ear rather than the almost invisible sensation the AeroClips give you. But then that's not always a bad thing. It's somewhat comforting to be able to tell if my headphones are still on and not left in the gutter at the side of the road. Although that's very unlikely to happen because they fit very snugly over your ears in a way that regular earbuds just don't offer. But what's cool is that you can adjust the fit of the hoops with 4 different degrees of angle, which changes the tension on them. I don't know if this is new, but it's certainly new to me. I've not tried a pair of active headphones for a while, but in the past, fit has always been stationary and a bit of a drag because often the hoops are either too big or too small. With this system, you can essentially make the hoop tighter, which ultimately results in a better, more stable experience, keeping them on your ears no matter what activity you decide to get up to. Now, the adjustment on the surface does feel quite easy to do, but it actually seems to keep the preferred setting quite well. Even the case allows you to retain the adjustment with the way it's designed. On the inside, the hoop and back section are in their own moulded run, and then the part that holds the drivers is semi-open to account for the kind of adjustability and setting that you've put it on, so that's quite nice. And actually, this case has another little addition of wireless charging too. Another tick in the feature box. And really taking a step back, the rest of the design is also nice. Other than the earbud adjustment, there's nothing particularly glaringly different or super special on the whole, just a solid pair of active style open earbuds. And it's this open ear style audio that's been somewhat growing on me recently, but not just any open ear style. I'm specifically referring to the soundcore offering that's got my attention because with the AeroFits and the AeroClips, they actually sit quite close to your ear orifices. Certainly closer than other open-ear headphones I've tried. Many generally tend to opt for the sort of projection from just in front of the ear or just above the ear, whereas these actually project directly in, and because of that, the sound is both better than many types of open-ear headphones, while simultaneously still letting the user hear ambient noises. Incidentally, and this is a real side note here, I've got a little guilty pleasure of watching ASMR videos, and I've found no better headphones for ASMR than these or the AeroClips. For whatever reason, having the drivers placed just on the edge of your ear holes turns the sensitivity of ASMR content up to 100. Seriously, if you're an ASMR lover, do go down to the description, click the link, and add either these or the AeroClips to your basket immediately, and then thank me later. For those that don't know what ASMR is, it's basically people doing this. I never thought I'd be doing ASMR. Maybe this is a new channel idea. STU'S Reviews ASMR. Hit that thumbs up if you agree. But going back to the audio quality, these feature some sizable drivers at 20 by 11.5mm, and they've also included their signature bass turbo acoustic structure, an hourglass-shaped acoustic cavity behind the driver to deliver deeper and richer sounding lows, and this is paired up with their bass up algorithm, which enhances the bass digitally, something which is unachievable in smaller inner ear headphones. So the sacrifice of not creating a seal between the driver and the eardrum is kind of counteracted by the larger size, but again with the added benefit of being able to hear the ambient noise around you better, which, let's face it, is rather important for a pair of active headphones that you'll be wearing whilst running, cycling, or whatever other strenuous activity you're doing. And because there's nothing cupping your ear, yet nothing shoved deep in your ear caverns too, this type of headphone is much more comfortable than other styles as well. So it really does feel like you're getting the best of both worlds with Soundcore's open ear range. And it's great to see that the AeroFit 2s have met the expectations that had already been set by the AeroClips. And fortunately, The app that he uses is the same as well. It's got full EQ customization, 3D sound options, control customization for the tap controls on the headphones, and the ability to play a loud tone to find the earbuds if you misplace one down the back of the sofa, or the dog eats it. But obviously, the biggest new addition with these is the new ability to use them as translator earbuds, and the translation experience is all run through this SOUNDCORE app. Now, there's a few ways that this can work. There's a press to talk mode, which lets you capture your own voice in your own native language directly onto earbuds. It gets then sent to the phone, and that then translates the audio and plays it from the phone in real time to whoever you're talking to. A bit like this. Hello and welcome to another episode of watching a middle-aged, slightly overweight, rapidly balding man talk about headphones.
Olá e bem-vindo a mais um episódio de assistir a um homem de meia idade, um pouco acima do peso e ficando rapidamente calvo falar sobre fones de ouvido.
Don't know if that's actually correct, but if Portuguese isn't your thing, then there's tons and tons of languages these are capable of translating, and SOUNDCORE suggests that this translation is 97% accurate. Now, this experience differs from regular translation apps because it means that you can have an earbud in, and your translated audio that these capture will still play from the phone speakers rather than being sent back to the earbuds like if you were using a regular pair of headphones. Likewise, the audio captured of the other person is captured on the phone rather than defaulting to the mics on your earbuds as the audio receiver. So what this means is that the conversation can be had more clearly and easily, but it also differs from traditional translation earbuds, which often require you to share the earbuds with the person you're talking to. Now, this may be fine for some people, but it sends absolute shivers down my spine thinking about my earbuds being shoved in the ears of some grubby individual that I don't know, all because I wanted to find out where the nearest toilets are after eating some horrendously poisoned street food. But with the SOUNDCORE and AeroFit's method, it's unobtrusive, easy to use, and I don't have to let anyone slather my earbuds with their earwax, so A star for user experience here. There is also another form of translation, which is essentially a real-time translation. This is more for a kind of a one-way type translation if you were listening to, say, a much longer segment in perhaps another language. So a seminar or a business meeting or even a film in a foreign language. And I've got to say it works incredibly well. Although obviously living in the middle of the Welsh countryside on the borderlands, I'm a little bit short of people that can speak another language for me to test this. But Alex from the YouTube channel Alex Gear and Tech here in the UK speaks fluent Portuguese on his second channel. And he's allowed me to show you just how well it translates his content while you watch it. So I've got the phone set up listening to Alex's video, and then it's translating and sending it to the earbud in real time, which is the audio you'll be able to hear recorded on the Sennheiser shotgun mic directly from those earbuds. It takes a few seconds to get translating, and that's largely as it needs context in the sentence to be able to translate it accurately. But after a short delay, it starts to translate Alex's vocals into English from Portuguese using the phone's microphones and outputting to the earbuds.
Hi everyone, I'm Ale, and this technology channel is the Portuguese version of my English channel, Alex Girl and Tech. You might say, Ale, there are already so many tech channels, we don't need another one. But for me, the theme of my English channel will be the same as this one, technology with a grounded perspective. Yes, I'll talk about the latest products from Apple, Samsung, Sony, Google, and so on, but at the end of the day, I'm a consumer too.
I think this kind of thing is so handy as part of my headphones basic feature set. It's such an easy thing for manufacturers and developers to add to your headphones. I don't know why more don't include this as part of the overall package. I mean, let's face it, most people will only use this type of feature once in a blue moon when they're away or on holiday or traveling, and are unlikely to buy a pair of earbuds that are specifically designed for translation. But you're much more likely to use a feature that's built into the headphones you're already using, such as these. Actually, on the subject of travel, interestingly, when I was writing this review, I saw that they were running an offer for a free travel case with the headphones, so it would be worth checking them out at the link below to see if that offer is still valid. But in terms of price, these things are at an RRP of £99, which I think is entirely reasonable. It's not one of those that I'll say is priced way below what it should be, nor what I would consider them overpriced. I think Soundcore have got the porridge just right with these here. But on second thoughts, if I consider that these have that new translation functionality, and I guess if this is a function that you'll be using a lot, then actually they're pretty good value. Certainly in comparison to dedicated translation headphones, which are often quite a bit more expensive. So actually, if this is a function that you're going to use, the value shoots right up. But overall, these are a solid pair of active headphones, well priced, with a couple of really killer features, and with the translation function for the right people. These are going to be invaluable. Oh, and they also happen to be fantastic for ASMR content. But what do you guys think? Is translation a feature that you'll want to use and wish more audio headphone manufacturers would implement? Or is it a feature that will be forgotten on the back page of your applications? Let us all know what you think in the comments below so we can all have a good chinwag over it. But if today's episode has helped you out in any way, if deciding if the AeroFit 2s are for you or not, then make sure you return the favour and hit that thumbs up and subscribe button, and do remember to check them out at the links below to see what their current price is at. But other than that, guys, I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.